Hi, today's my concept is related to importance of financial management. Some points I have explained in the previous class. It is a continuation of the concept of importance of financial management. The 3 points I have explained in the previous class is the continuation of the previous class. Now let me explain the fourth importance of financial management. That's the proper use of funds. Financial management ensures that all financial resources are properly utilized in the organization. So it is one of the importance. The management, financial management or the finance manager has to ensure that whether the all the financial resources are properly utilized in the business or not. So that is the proper use of fund for genuine purpose, whether it is used or not. It has to be monitored by the financial department. Finance managers supervise the use of all the funds and checks whether they are invested in better assets or not. So it is a duty of finance department or financial manager. They have to observe or they have to monitor whether all the funds they are using it or whether they are invested in the right assets or not, or whether they are allocated to the right department or not. That has to be verified or that has to be monitored by the financial department. Before allocating any funds in any investment avenue, they properly evaluate risk and return associated with. So this is from investment point of view. So when you go for the organization also, before you are allocating any fund or any finance to any department, it has to be allocated based on risk return ratio. So based allocation of fund based on its impact or its significance on the development of the company or development of the organization, or its significance to achieve the objectives of the company. So in such a way, the fund has to be allocated to different sections of the uh, management or different sections of the organization. So that is about proper use of funds. So one point is it is a duty of finance manager or head of the finance management department. They have to look after the proper utilization of fund, and also they have to monitor or observe the use of funds, because through that they can get the proper control over the financial activities. So this is a finance management cycle: planning and budgeting, resource allocation, operating, monitoring and safeguarding, and evaluation and reporting. So this is a process generally which will help in case of proper use of funds. So of course it is a management cycles, but most of the all cycles are related to the proper use of funds. So that's all about the proper use of funds. So that's for it plays significant role in case of the importance of financial management. The next importance of financial management is facilitates cost control. Financial management facilitates cost control. Financial managers focus on controlling all costs associated with the business. So, main duty of the finance manager is controlling all the costs associated with the business. Controlling all the costs associated with the business means controlling on all the financial activities. Planning and controlling are two pillar for the finance department. So whenever they have the proper plan, then they must have the proper control. So then only they can easily reach their objectives or aims. So therefore finance managers always focus is to control the cost which is associated with the business. They prepare a budget for all the activities of the business and ensures that all expenses go in accordance with the predetermined budget. So first is a duty is preparation of budget, or we can, in simple words, you can say that plan for financial activities. So prepare a budget for all activities of the business. So budget or the plan of financial activities of the business. And another one, they have to ensure that all the expenses go in accordance with the predetermined budget. So not only preparation of budget or not only making up financial plan, but also they have to ensure that whether the expenses are in accordance with the budget or in accordance with the financial plan or not. So that is what they have to monitor it, or they have to observe it, or they have to get the feedback regarding the expenses which are incurred in different financial activities or expenses which are incurred in the different department of the organization. So they have to monitor, or they have to observe whether the expenses are goes as per the predetermined budget. And another point is financial managers take all remedial measures if the cost is found to be more than pre-allotted budget. Is there another responsibility of the finance manager? If the financial activities or the expenses incurred on financial activities, if it is beyond their budget, if it is beyond their financial plan, then they have to take some remedial measures to control the cost or to control the expenses. That is what it says: financial managers take all remedial measures if the cost is found to be more than pre-allotted budget. So therefore why they have to monitor, or why they have to observe the expenses of the business or expenses incurred in financial activities, because through that they can come to know that whether the finance expenses or whether the cost is going as per their budget, or whether it is deviating from their financial plan. If there is any deviation, means over expenses, or if the cost is more than their budget or than their financial plan, then they can take some measures to control the cost, or then they can take some measures to control the cost to their financial track. So that is about the facilitates cost control. So cost management plays major role in case of finance management. So it is one of the main part of financial management, the cost management. If they have the control, definitely the financial activities are under their control, so they can reach their goal or objectives easily. So that's all about facilitates cost control. The next importance of financial management is a better disposal of surplus, or how to dispose the surplus of the organization, or the measures or the decisions taken by the management to dispose the surplus. Decision regarding using the surplus or profit earned by the business are taken by the finance managers. Again, the disposal of surplus or dispose of profit is the duty of finance manager, or it is the responsibility of finance manager. They have to take right decision regarding the using of surplus or profit earned by the business, and how they have to distribute it to the different persons related to the organization. They decide whether it should be distributed as dividends to shareholders or should be retained. So it is again left to the business, or it is left to the company, or it is left to the finance manager. So they have to take one decision whether the surplus or profit to be distributed as dividends to shareholder or should be retained. So both can be possible. That is a decision based depends on the finance manager, or decision dependent on the business. They can entirely surplus can be distributed as dividend to shareholder, or entire surplus can be retained with the company for future development, for the future utilization, or they can some part of the surplus or some part of the profit they can be distribute as dividend, and other part they can be retained with the company for the future use or for future development. So it depends, decision is entirely left to the company or left to the management of that particular business unit. So that is another importance of finance management, the better disposal of surplus. The finance manager decides an optimum dividend payout ratio out of available profit by considering all expansion and growth opportunities available to the organization. Again, it is a part or responsibility of finance department. they decides an optimum dividend payout ratio out of available profit. So this is part of optimum payout ratio or optimum dividend payout ratio that comes again in the coming classes. So there I will explain in detail about the payout ratio. So here in simple words, the company manager or the finance manager of the business unit, they will decide the best dividend payout ratio or the best dividend out of surplus to the shareholders, and by considering all the expansion and growth opportunities. While before declaring the dividend to the shareholders, they have to consider their future plan, whether the fund is required for the future development or to meet the future plan of the organization. So by considering all expansion and growth opportunities available to the organization, then they have to declare or then they have to distribute surplus or profit as dividend to the shareholder. So it is again, it is left to the finance manager. So that's about better disposal of profit, how the surplus or the profit can be distributed to the shareholders, or whether it can be retained with the company for the future development. So that is a decision left to the finance manager. The next importance of finance management is manages cash movements. The finance department of the business unit, they manage the cash movements easily, or entire cash movement activities are under the control of finance department of a business unit. Finance management monitors and manages all cash movements in business organization. In another word, the finance management monitors and control all financial activities of the business organization. All cash flows, cash inflows and cash outflows in an organization are properly recorded by finance manager. They will maintain proper statements for cash inflows as well as for cash outflows, and that will be monitored and that will be recorded in systematic way, and that will be monitored by the finance department. So that is all outflow and inflow, cash inflow as well as cash outflow are under the control of finance department. They ensures that there is no deficiency or surplus of cash. So that is the duty of a finance manager, or that is the responsibility of finance department. They have to ensure that there is no deficiency or surplus. There is no shortage of cash, as well as there should not be excess of cash with the business unit. So that is the ensuring of that is the responsibility of finance manager, or they have to ensure that there is no such problems with the particular business unit. So this is generally what cash management or cash movements includes. This structure or this diagram will give you the picture about the cash movements activities, receivables, collections, payments, or real-time control, or liquidity management, forecasting. So these all comes under cash management, and these entire process under the control of finance management. So because to manage that, to show that there is no deficiency in case of cash, and at the same time there is no excess cash with the business unit. So that is why they are always monitor the cash activities or cash movements of a business unit. So that's about the next importance of finance management, or that's about the manages cash movements. So that's all about the importance of finance management. Some parts I have explained, some points, some importance I have explained in the previous class, and the remaining part I have explained in today's class. That's all about the importance of finance management. Thank you very much.